Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome aboard Flying with Mike. We are going to fly a pretty short flight for this video. We're going to be posting this up on YouTube here later this week. But wanted to get this flight in so it would get on YouTube come about Wednesday or Thursday. It was the second flight. It was flown off on another stream, but I wanted to come back and do a better video for YouTube. So we're just recording this today. We're not live streaming, but we are going to use the C90. Now, it worked out pretty good last flight. We didn't have any engine fires. We did run into no brakes at this airport, I believe it was, but we'll see how that turns out when we get in there. 1 second here. I just noticed a slight discrepancy that needs to be changed out. Hang on a second. Always love when you find those. You've looked and you've looked and you missed that obvious one. And wow, hang on a second. I really missed something here. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, because that title down there does not do any justice for what we have in store for us today. We'll see how this works out. Okay. And just so you all know, we are on POSCON, mainly so we wouldn't have much trouble here in getting this streamed out. So bear with me just in case this goes out to everyone. Uh, Not very. Usually I'm more prepared. This one, I just kind of on a whim wanted to get it out there. All right, so we'll do that, and hopefully that changes it. By the time you see it though, the title would have changed anyway. But anyway, first off and foremost, this is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all fathers out there and those who are about to be fathers. My brother or son-in-law is about to be giving our first grandchild uh, to our daughter. So happy Father's Day to y'all. So without further ado, you can see we're in the new King Air. It is actually the default King Air that comes with X-Plane, the C90 version. A gentleman went in, made a lot of modifications to it. And if you were to see what the original looks like versus this one, this paint job I really like. I wish this paint job could come to the old one as well, but it is really sleek looking. Now, he's added a fuel truck in it. That's up to whether you like it or not. You can get rid of it real easy, and I'll show you. Also, there's a switch now inside uh, well, it's always worked at the ground power, but now there's a red button he's put in. And when you click the red button, a generator would show up here. So you would have that as an option to get everything set up prior to the flight. This flight is so short, it's only 53 miles. It's going from, well, let's go ahead while we're waiting. I'm going to bring up Sim Toolkit here. and actually load up the plane. So what we'll do is go up to Flight, click Edit Weight and Balance. And what I'm going to do is set this to 900. Click down here. Then I'm going to click the fuel to 999. Clicking here, that'll set the fuel into the right places. We're done, and we'll apply the changes. All right, so with all of that in mind, let's get this bird in the air. So now, couple neat features here. One, I've already mentioned. Let me get down here so you can see it again. This red switch, if you click on it, there's your generator showing up. And from the plane, let me just look over. You can see there's the generator with the guy there to turn it on and do all that good, happy stuff. All right, so let's go back down here. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. Okay. The other neat feature, let's say you're in a busy airspace and all of a sudden ATC is ready to give you your clearance. You're not even powered up yet. Well, the C90 has a secondary system that works. I believe it's going to be off the battery. It's not off that generator. This is completely internal. You just click here and turn your nav or COM1 on. That's the only one will work. And then you'll be able to receive your clearance from Clarence. So, sorry, bad joke from airplane. And then we're going to go ahead and get our first frequency in there. We don't have our squawk yet from POSCON. Again, I'll get into that all once we get fired up and getting all the radios and GPS and all of that set up. So, but for now, we're set and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is just come off that backup system and we're going to go in and we're going to start this thing up. So let's first start with the exterior inspection. For that, we'll go to this view. Fuel truck's in the way, but let's kind of come in a little bit so you can see things. So you can get a good look at this. He did a great paint job on it, inside and out. Also, we have people inside of it now, which we didn't have with the default. And this is what constitutes a walk-around inspection for me. Just taking in the very nice look to the plane. Okay, now as I mentioned, you can get rid of the fuel truck. Our next one is lock the cabin door. So we're going to close it, and there it goes away. Hey, I didn't get inside. All right, so we're back inside now. We're going to load the baggage and the peoples. They're secure. Weight and balance checked and secure. Emergency exits latch. Control locks are removed. And to prove, if we can do this, the control locks are all removed. Okay. Seatbelts are on. Parking brake. Now, one thing I've found with this plane that's weird, and I'm just going to put it that way instead of really dogging it, is the parking brake. For this flight, it's not going to be a big problem. But for flights when you're on an ACAR system for your virtual airline, you may not record right now the parking brake being set, and you're going to have to fiddle with it. I actually have a key that'll say parking brake set that the airline that I fly a lot with, this Millennium Aviation or PACR, will then trigger it to say the parking brake's set and released both ways. You could release it and it still won't say it. So be very mindful of that. Okay, just wanted to point that out. Okay, going down from here, the parking brake is set. And again, that's this lever here. The one thing I did not get set was the overhead panel. And by that, I mean turning all of these to bright, because that's the way I like them. So bear with me here. It shouldn't take too long. We'll try the mouse wheel and see if it goes any faster. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so we got the pilot, flight lights, gyro lights, engine instruments. Now we're getting the avionics. And you set these to your level, folks. And you can, of course, adjust once you've got, if you're at night and you need them turned down. They're obviously adjustable. And we're going, and then I'll point out one more thing here on this panel once we get them all turned up. Now, the other thing we're not going to go through. Now, this is somewhat of a tutorial on this aircraft as well. Don't take it full-heartedly because I am in no way qualified to, one, I'm not a King Air pilot, folks. I'm not even a commercial pilot. However, I do have a private pilot's license. Granted, it was from 1983 and my last flight was in 1985. So I need to get recurrent by ground school, biannual, and of course the physical. But I do have that knowledge of up to 300 hours of flying single engine, let alone two turboprops. So bear with me. I'll do the best I can. I was not instrument rated nor commercial rated. So none of that I can give any thought to, but I'll do the best I can in this tutorial. If I do something wrong, or if something's looking to you out of whack, please, in the comment section, let me know. I read them all. I learn from them all. And if some of them are just so horrible in the um, uh, critique, I'll email you back. All right, so all of that stuff aside, what you're seeing on here is a great panel, except for this text and the text around the selector switch. So far, the guy that's been doing the mods, I believe it's Young Poignet, can't get the font right to where it's not blurry. He doesn't know what type of font it is or how to make the image file, whatever style it is. I haven't gone in. I don't. Another thing I want to point out, I don't know a lot about X-Plane, folks. So I don't know file structure of aircraft. I'm a big Microsoft Flight Sim FSX pilot and back. I do not own the new Flight Sim, so I don't know anything about it, nor the beloved DC-6 that I'm looking to possibly get into and get back into Microsoft. But I do know how to fly them. I try to, at least. Some quirks in X-Plane I don't like. Hopefully I won't point them out too hard. But this one, I can't tell you where it's at or how to fix it. Like I might have been able to help him out if it was FSX. So that aside, that's why this is all blurry looking. At first, I thought it was my glasses and I need a new prescription, but thankfully he told me, nope, that's just, it is what it is right now. So let's get back down in the cockpit. Enough of that sideline stuff. Okay, so the overhead panel's been checked, lights are set. Oxygen control panel is located over on the co-pilot side. Right down here, we'll go ahead and get rid of the joystick or the yoke right now. And we're going to kind of zoom in on it, come down a little bit. Oxygen is right here. So we're going to, this is for the masks. We'll come back to that check in just a minute. System pressure should be about 1800. I can't zoom in enough to, I think, can I get it in close enough? It is right at almost 2000, so we're good. So, all right, now the check that was being said is you pull the mask and just like you would in a 737, check the airflow. That's added to the plane, but we're not going to do that check. Continuing on, we'll check that the circuit breakers are all in. They're located here, and the majority of them are here. And as you can tell, we can't do anything to them. Now, before we go on, one other thing that he has added, that's a door. There is now a sliding door between here and there. I always forget, how do we get rid of it? Hang on, let me swing this way. Oh, well. Well, the door's closed. Okay, well, now you can't see into the cabin. Wow, you really can't open it. Oh, well. Wait. No, what's that for? Oh, the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher is included and you can shoot it off as many times as necessary if you have a fire. Unlike the real ones where, forget it, you won't get that. Let's just try something. Maybe I'm just not over far enough. Nope, I don't know how to get the door reopened. Oh well, not a big deal. Okay, so now you can't see behind us. However, no, not that one. Let me do this. Cabin, and I'll just swing this around. There's our peeps in here. Maybe it's on this side. Hey, there we go. But anyway, now you can see the peeps. I don't really care for the door itself, but I know people do out there, so um, it's again something neat. So continuing on, emergency static valve is normal. That I'm not really sure where it's at. So we'll just keep going. Okay, now this I do know. Cabin temperature. That is this switch here. I'm going to try to stay on this one so you guys get a feel. It's right by the yoke over here. Make sure it is off. Landing gear lever, make sure it's down. And prop lever, let's see, going down, condition levers. Now, these would be red in most of your twin engine. They're not always in all the airplanes. Make sure they're in fuel cutoff. Props full forward. Full back is feathered. And then move your throttles. Make sure they work. Folks, it's always bad when you're ready to power up and they don't work. Okay, left sub panel switches are off. Okay, so we're going to move into now where we're about ready to start this aircraft up. So to do that, we first need to turn on the boost pumps. Let me give you a good look here. So boost pumps. Now the checklist I'm running from is BE90 checklist version 1.0 from I want to say this is one of the Carinado ones because it's very similarly formatted that somebody worked up. It's pretty intense, but it doesn't deal with emergencies. This airplane could give you some emergencies, folks. That's one of my critiques about it, and the author of it knows my critiques. Matter of fact, he informed me a couple days ago there is going to be another version out here soon. So be watching for it. I'm going to have the link for it in the text below on the YouTube when this is posted. All right, so fuel pumps are on. Now we're going to turn the battery switch on. That's this switch here. And then we're going to turn the inverter up to number 1. Well, I'm going to go to number 2 just because that's where it went. That turns our engine instruments on. And according to this, fuel pressure checked low. I'll go up here. I never see that one. But the bleed air is on and the other oil pressures are on. Okay, so we'll turn the inverter off. Keep the battery on. Transfer pump on. Fire detection. Okay, all good. And folks, there's 2 engines, so there'd be one here. Here, let me just get it all the way out so you can see it all. Okay. Voltmeters, and then cabin signs. Okay, cabin signs, I'm going to drop down. They are right here. I'm going to take it up so no smoking, and fasten seatbelt is on. Okay, now we're going to actually start up the engines. Now this is an interesting start process. However, those of you from the Microsoft world prior to the new one, I don't know anything about it, but prior to that, I really hated how props, especially turboprops, started. It's like you see the gauges dialing up like they should, but the props aren't spinning. And then all of a sudden they spin up like they're ready to go. I hated that. I don't know if they changed that or not, so I can't comment on that. But in X-Plane, we're going to take, here's where your starters are. We're going to go right ignition start to on. Oops, let's get over to the right one. It's already spinning like it should. We're waiting for this to get to 12. It's already passed. We go to low idle, and that'll allow it to spool up. Try not to keep this on longer than 30 to 60 seconds. There will be problems. Once we hit 52, we can turn it off if it doesn't on its own already, which it has. Okay. Monitor your IT and your oil pressures. Make sure everything's in the green within 10 seconds. Now we've got the ignition off. We're going to go reset the gen. You don't have to do that on the actual one that comes with it. The mod, you have to actually reset it. Okay, and then we're going to go to high idle. We're going to get bleeds on. And we're at high idle on the engine. We're going to now start up number 1, or the left engine. Again, the prop will start to spin. We're watching. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, we're at 20, so I'm going to go ahead and bring us up to low idle. Again, we're watching our pressures here on engine 1. They look good. IT looking good. It's settling in on 800. Switches off. We're 59. And then we're going to click the generator, reset and on. Now, the only light we have, what is it? And I use this view. Oh, the inverter. That's coming up here. Okay, so engines are started. Now, we're going to bring the inverter. I'm going to use inverter 1 or clear on the board up here. And now we can pull engine number 2 back to low idle. One other thing he fixed on, he didn't fix, he gave us the ability to move both of these at the same time. Up here, you do them individually, as you can see me moving them. But if you come down just a little bit, you can move them both. It's really nice when you're trying to set the props for climb out and cruise. Really nice. Pulling back a little bit on the fuel flow. It's really a nice touch. Kudos on that. All right, so after engine start, let's get the avionics fired up. Boom. Now, I've already gone in earlier and had these set up. Oop, I didn't get that one turned on. But we'll get the GPS on. This is something that wasn't on the other one as well. You come in here. Where's the big knob? Is that the one? No. Oh, I'm going to have to do it from that view. Okay, from this view, hello, GPS. Okay, let's see if I can get the bottom one fired up. Well, I'll be jiggers. I can't believe they're not going to fire up. Well, we're going to go on down to here. Let's get our EFIS turned on. Our flight director on. And then what I do is set this for HSI. All right, you know what I'm going to do, folks? Hang on. Usually there's like a big half circle over here. I don't know why it's not showing up now. No, that's why, dummy. Just move your mouse up one. Okay. Hey, I learned something new. I think I did this on every single one of these, folks. Wow. Okay, and then I'm also going to turn this switch up. What this is, let me zoom in on it. It's your auxiliary power for the EFIS system. That's the PFD and your HSIs here. From what the creator said in his video for this, there's such a load on the aircraft bringing the landing gear up and down, which I don't understand. It shouldn't be, but let's, argumentative sake, it's his plane. You turn that on, that helps get rid of that. Okay, I'm not gonna, no need to argue it. It's, it is what it is. All right, so let's go through this. First thing is our CTAF. When you're in POSCON, when you file your flight plan, let me bring this up, and then I'm going to let y'all see this. Perfect. Okay. Anyway, we're on the, here is a sectional of our route that we have ahead of us. That's the first thing here I've got pulled up. And if I just go over here, this is from SkyVector, as you see. Coming down here, if I click the MRMS radar, gives you again the same thing you saw in Sim Toolkit. All right, so but that's not what we're here for. We're here for what the flight plan. Okay, when you file your flight, did I not submit it? Oh, I did. Dadgummit. Okay, so it's in there. PACR has it. They haven't sent back a code. What happens is you file your flight plan. You saw that page. Okay, it's going to come back. It's going to give you the METAR, the common traffic frequency, and if that's not on your chart, which there isn't a chart for here, 122.95, that's the Unicom channel. As we all know, VATSIM 122.800. For POSCON, it's 122.95. Now, the guard channel that you also monitor is 12345. Also, and that's in flight, and 121.5, which we all know is the distress channel. So we'll get all of those dialed in here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this since I've just realized. And then the nice thing is you can see all your radios. All right, so we'll go back to new messages. What I'm going to do, oh, let me get that pulled away from y'all as well. Okay. And I do have active cameras, so that's what you're seeing come up every now and then. All right, so let's go into here, and we're going to set up our flight plan. But I'm sorry, we need to set up our radios first. So 123 or 122.95, 123, and I love this, 4.5. Real nice, easy frequency. And then 121. 500 over here. We'll pop that into nav2. And then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standing by just on the outset that I need it. Okay. Now, 1440 in nav1, that's Fort Yukon, folks. So that's where we're headed. Literally, that's all I need to do to fly there. However, we're going to load the GPS so we can watch it. And I am going to go to on, and we'll just see if that brings it up. And 242 on the ADF, that is the NDB at Fort Yukon. And I've just got it in standby here. So what I'm going to do is pull this up, and I'm actually going to, there. So that way you all can see out of the plane. Flight plan. There's our origin. Whoa. Hang on, let's find out what the heck just shut down number 2. Well, we'll give it a shot again at getting fired up. I may have to reset here. Oh, dang it, I hope that's not why. Huh. Well, interesting. Wonder what I did wrong other than I didn't turn the anti-ice on real quick, which was coming up. Well, we're going to reset real quick here, folks. Give me a second, and we'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back at pretty much the same point we were. I don't know why we lost number 2 like that. I'm making one check here before we get into getting this thing programmed. Fuel looks good. They're about even. So yeah, I don't know what caused it. One thing I do need to do here. 2987. Okay, and our altitude here, 613, and we're pretty close, so I'm good with that. All right, so I've also turned the power on here, and we are not picking up Fort Yukon as of yet, so that's cool. So let's get in here, we'll get going. All right, so flight plan, PACR is where we're at. We're gonna just push the knob, scroll it down, and then we're going to set FY. There we go. Oh, I went the wrong way. F Y U. Fort Yukon is correct, so we'll click enter. We're in Alaska, so we'll click enter and accept. Last thing we got to put in, Papa Fox. Whoops. Uniform. I'm sorry, correction. Yankee. Fort Yukon is the airport. Enter, accept. That's it, folks. And then what I'm going to do, well, for now we'll do that. When we get airborne, we'll set it to go to our RNAV fix and get it in. There are no departures out of here. So that, folks, sets that up. Now I like this GPS here, the 530, because it gives you a lot of information this one will not give you. That's all it gives you. So, but it is a good backup. So we'll put the flight plan in here, menu, and we'll come down to delete the plan, yes, and then push, scroll down, go F, and I use this just as a backup, folks. Y, finally Yukon. Okay, for Yukon, we'll press enter, we're in Alaska, and accept. And then of course Papa Alpha, oh no, Fox, Yankee, got myself all discombobulated. And we can press enter twice. Okay, and that one's entered as well. Flight plan off. We'll come out just a smidge, close that one off. And we'll close that one off. We got 6,000 set. You make sure we are logged in. There we are on the map. Okay. All right, bear with me, folks. Hopefully, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't think I'm going to need it. So, away with it. Okay. Just being a real nuisance. Hopefully, I don't leave any screens up. But anyway, our takeoff, we're on the runway, so we're just going to go. There are no parking spots off the runway. And we'll take a look real quick outside. Beautiful here, how you got the mountains around us. But for the most part, we're going to be following that river right there, pretty much right to the airport, called Fort Yukon. That is the Yukon River. All right, so before takeoff. Now, we're not going to do the run-up. Sorry, folks. I haven't been in this long enough to know all the nuances. So we're going to, let's see here. All right, so here we go. So let's get back in the aircraft. We're going to come down to where we're just seeing the switches. Our props are forward. We're in low idle. Parking brake set. Auto feather needs to go to arm. Propellers, we've got that set. Condition lever set. Not sure where the suction is. I want to say here, but I'm thinking probably my mind is thinking caravan. Okay, we're going to go to altitude. See if we can't get it to trigger. Flight engines, oil temp, everything is up. Okay. Let's make sure, yeah, they're all up. Ice protection is on. Now, on gravel runways, I've learned with this plane, set the trim right about there for takeoff. The anti-ice has to be on, and I've actually turned the standby on just to make sure we're getting anything pulled into the engine thrown out. Be honest, I haven't heard anyone contradict him, so I'm going to go that's what it's supposed to do. So it sounds weird to me, but a lot of things in this plane sound weird. So no big deal. Okay, we are going to turn on our pitot heats. Actually, no, we're not. Boost pumps are on, friction set, radar and avionics set, flight controls. Oh, you won't see them here. Alright, so they are good. We're ready for takeoff. So, supercharger, pitot heat, transponders on, synchrophaser off, strobes on. That's the switch here. We'll turn all our other lights on. Get a quick look outside. All the lights are in the nose gear, folks. There are no, it's kind of, I wish they did have some out here, but solid boot here, here, and here. Strobes on, I'm sorry, auto ignition armed. Okay, so during our takeoff, we're going to make sure the auto feather comes on. There'll be, if I'm not mistaken, these two green lights in between the ignition and the anti-ice. Maybe not. I could be wrong now. Ignition on, annunciators checked and extinguished, and we'll be checking the ITT. We're not going to go over. We're going to slowly advance the throttles here. All right, folks, so here we go. 6,000 feet's our cruise, and in a moment, we're going to be flying with Mike. Okay, folks, here we go. Parking brake. Off. And we rotate at about 100 knots. And we just got engine fires. All right, folks, bear with me a second. Taking a screenshot. Now I don't know why. We did not exceed anything. All right, so bear with us. We're going to reset one last time and give this a shot. Well, hello again, folks. Welcome back to Flying with Mike. And, well, not sure what happened. We're not going to screw around anymore. We're in this is the default. When I get engine fires and I don't know why, I'll go back, look at the tape. Maybe I forgot something. But this is the default C90. And folks, I'll be honest, I actually like this plane. Even though there's a lot of extra neat things in the new mod, I actually like this one. So I know I said this was a tutorial on that one. Well, I'm going to scratch that for now. The next few flights won't be flown with it anyway on the Flying with Mike circuit, especially the flying Alaskan bush. Mainly because runway lengths. We're heading after this one to a 5-mile airport. Actually, if you look for it on the sectionals, you won't find it. But in X-Plane, it's there. We'll fly to it. It is actually out there in the real world. It sits right next to the Dalton Highway, which runs from Fairbanks to Prudhoe Bay. And I mean, I even think part of it's on it, or part of it might even be part of the river. It's right all together there. But we're going to be flying there on the next flight, and then from there on to the next airport. Because of that one being only a 2,500-foot runway, I think it is, Caravan is all we're going to be able to use on that. Well, we've got everything lined up. Let's go through real quick, make sure. I have a second checklist I can use here. So we've got the cabin door locked, the parking brake set, landing gears down. We're fired up. Inverters are on. Annunciators have been tested and checked. Cabin signs on. Beacons on. Prop levers are full forward. Generators are on. The avionics is on and set. EFIS is on and set. Transfer pumps are at auto. Bleed air valves are open. Cabin temperature is set to auto. And the pressurization is set. Elevator trim checked and set. We're set on 0 in the plane. We'll adjust on takeoff. So you're going to see me kind of hopping while I get the trim set. Just to warn you ahead of time, flaps are set 10 degrees. I think it's 10. Hang on. At about 20, 25 degrees. We'll get out and look at them again. And flight controls, they all look free and good to use. Weight and balance has been checked. We'll take a quick look around. See, there's no oxygen masks and no passengers. So, well, I know it's a little disappointing, but it happens. This second time I've had to switch out and just say, the heck with it. Fly this one. We'll come back, deal with it another day. All right, so engine auto ignition is in the auto position. I'm sorry, the armed position. Auto feather is in the armed position. The ice protection, again, gravel runway, they recommend we turn the engine anti-ice on. I don't understand it, but hey, we're following the checklist. Lights are on. Landing and taxi lights are on. Nav lights, beacon, and strobes. Transponders set to altitude, and we still have not received anything. And I can't set a flight plan up because it's technically still being used. So that clears us for takeoff, folks. So here we go. Oop, let's use the right one here. Make sure we don't need to turn any mics on. Circle City traffic. KingAir, November 43 X-ray Sierra. Departing runway 33, Fort Yukon. Okay, here we go, folks. All we got to do, let me see if my switch, oh, good. And props are high idle. I'm sorry, condition levers high idle, props full forward. Here we go. We're going to, again, try not to overspeed the props. Okay. 80 knots. Rotate. Okay, positive rate of climb, gear up. Flaps up. Turning to heading 310. Okay. Go to GPS. And this is where that feature comes in real handy. Okay. Flaps are up, props are set, and we're at just below red line on the ITT. All the others are looking good. Okay, after takeoff, gears up, flaps up, props set to, they say 1900. I've got 2000 on another. Landing lights, prop sinks can come on. Yaw dampers on, cabin altitude checked, and we're climbing out to 6,000 feet. There we go, folks. We're on our way. Again, my apologies. We couldn't do a complete tutorial on the new mod, but we are working our way there. Hang on a second. And we'll bump the range up here as well. And let's switch to our airborne frequency. And out of curiosity, I'm just going to try one more time. Well, we got it this time. And we'll see if we can't get a, let's see here, we're coming up on our altitude. See what happens. Okay, well, we went through. All right, so we're over our altitude. Okay, let's see if she settles down. All right, so we are now in cruise, folks. We are on our way. I forgot to turn the elevator trim on. The other mod, I was so used to working with the other mod, you don't turn that on. I don't know if you're supposed to, but that didn't cause the engine fire. Something else did. I don't know what it would have been. And, well, we're going to have to, oh well. It is what it is, and we'll just enjoy this version as we fly over the Yukon, headed up to Fort Yukon. The other nice things that I would love to try out is the icing features on it. But right now, with all the engine fires, I'll stick with this. So, but anyway, folks, we'll be in Fort Yukon here shortly. We are only 17 miles out. So let's get that initial set in here for the procedure. We'll select our approach. Wow. That's not how they looked before. That's weird. Willard, I think, is what we're shooting for. Yeah, Willard. Okay, at least those are showing. Enter. Enter to load it. And now we're going to activate. So we'll go up 1. Enter. Aircraft's going to make the hard turn. Now, just so we can go over it real quick, I'm just going to read it off to y'all. Whoa, airplane, whoa, you're not supposed to bank too hard. Okay. All right, getting back to the brief. Final approach course is 221. We're going to go to Willard, then to Awiro, and then into the airport. Here, I'm just going to, you know what, we'll make this real quick, real down and dirty simple. And okay. All right, so they should be showing up there for you. So real quick, Willard, as you see on the chart, we got Willard, AWIRO, then EYIMO. That one we need to be at 2,000 feet. Our decision altitude is 250 feet above ground. Airport's 457. So from Willard, we fly 281, then 221 down to the runway. Here's our descent. Missed approach. Climbing left turn to 2,000, direct AWIR and hold. And it will be a right-hand turn, so a teardrop entry. Minimums we don't have to worry about. Weather's just fine here. And 1 mile and 697 though if we did have to worry. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into this descent. Stand by as I get rid of the charts and get that going. And we are 8 miles away, so we need to get going on this descent. So we're going to descend. Oh, yeah. Set up PS. No. All right, let's try this again. Gosh dang it, it just wants to porpoise up. Okay, our descent checks are right now just trying to get her down. Okay, we're trying to get her to slow. Got to get under 145. Okay. Here we go. Again, you can see the Yukon all over the place up here. Okay, we should be flattening out. Okay. Get her up to 140 and then we'll be ready for the turn inbound. Okay, we got to climb. Okay, prop levers forward. Okay. Looking for the runway. Once we have the runway, I will probably do my best to bring it in on my own. All right, folks. It's not been the ideal flight that I'd like to have gone with a video on, but we'll get in here and well, it shows we can improvise. Unfortunately, we don't know yet what caused all our havoc. Okay, let's slow up. All right, going to the descent real quick. Okay, cabin signs on, synchrophasers, flaps, landing gear. Still don't have the runway in sight. Lights, pressurization, props are auto feathered are on. Radar to standby condition levers are full auto. Props are high RPM. And then we'll go into beta on landing. Okay, real quick. 1 mile. And then we start in. And we'll be starting in at a 800 feet a minute drop. Actually, no. Cut it out, airplane. All right, here we go. And that comes off that. And let's see if I can get it from. Thank you. Runway in sight. Okay, first notch of flaps, gear down. Lights on. Again, pardon my porpoising. This is one of my problems with X-Plane. Way too much reliance on trim. Not enough. Yeah, it just... Okay. 3 miles to the VOR, which is actually beyond the airport, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, red over white, we're looking good. We're going to punch in a little bit of power. Full flaps. We are now configured for landing. Okay, and stable. Landing. Took a bit, but we're finally stable. Lower drifting. And there's reverse. And we're coming out. Welcome to Fort Yukon. And we'll head up to this ramp. Oh, I didn't even announce my intentions. Doggone it. All right, after landing, flaps up. Landing and taxi lights can be turned off. We'll keep the taxi lights on. All right, they're off. Arm is off, and you can go away for now. Okay. All right, pitot heats and all are off. Electrics, we're reducing the load. Trim set. Transponder. Standby. Strobes are off. And again, welcome here into our destination, Fort Yukon. Like I said, it wasn't a very long flight. And we'll just taxi to the back there. I really don't know where the parking areas are here in X-plane. I just know, well, that's a much bigger ramp, but I don't really see anything that tells me where we would normally park. All right, so we're just heading back to the back here. Kind of kick it over a little. Okay, parking brake set. All right, folks, that is the conclusion. Now, we are going to go back, take a look at the landing here in a moment. Transfer pumps. Okay, so let's get the aircraft in a shutdown mode. Transfer pumps off. Crossfeed closed. Inverter off. Auto feather off. Okay. Cabin temp mode off. Avionics switches. Let's first turn off EFIS and flight director. Probably did that backwards. Now we'll turn off the avionics. Okay, oxygen supply is, I don't know where that one's at. Huh. Let's take a look. I'll have to find out. Okay, so ITT below 610, and it is, for at least 1 minute. We can then feather the props one at a time. Okay. Taxi lights off. And with the props feathered, let's go to cutoff on the fuel. Okay, and then come up here, and we're going to wait till our N1, which is our turbine here. This always gets me confused, folks. N1, N2, I guess. We're looking for it to get below 10. Okay, we're below 10. And now the boost pumps can go off. And so can the battery and gens. So for that, we'll go ahead and knock the gens down. Usually there's a gang bar here. Crossed this and a few other switches, so they all turn off and are made sure they're off. Control locks, parking brake as required. All right, folks, there's a wrap on today's roll. What we're going to do, first things first, let's get off POSCON. And before I do anything, I want to make sure I come off POSCON. Okay, the reason being they would ghost us. All right, so it is time to let's see what this approach really looked like. Sometimes I'm scared to look at it, and sometimes it's actually not too bad. And I'm going to pause it real quick here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get the mini camera control panel back up. Go to cabin. We'll look right out that way. All right. So let's continue in. See how this approach looked from the passenger's point of view. And for those curious, it was a 298 feet a minute landing, so it wasn't all that bad. Control of the plane was horrible the whole trip, but let's see how the arrival goes. Actually, that did not look all that bad, folks. 298 feet a minute's not bad. Alright, let's reset. Take a look out this side off the engine. And for those that are curious, this is it's copyright-free material from Approaching Nirvana Final Flight. How appropriate. Another nice landing. Get out here and actually take a look at it from the plane itself. Good so far. Flaps are full, gear down, coming in over the runway. We just go back a little bit here, folks. Three-point landing, never good. All right, folks, we're gonna back it up one more time and we'll see how the tower looks. That'll always be a really good landing, because we can't even hardly see the airplane from the tower, which they actually don't have there. Alright folks, well, we thank you for watching the video. It's only on YouTube. It will not be up on Twitch. There's one already there, but this one will be only on YouTube. We thank you and very much for following and flying with Mike. If you'd like the video, click like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we would sure appreciate that. Lets us know our content's what you're looking for, and that you want to follow us when we post new videos here. But folks, we thank you so much as we watch the aircraft taxi in. We thank you for flying with Mike, and we hope you have a great day wherever that is in the country. God bless, good day, good night. Y'all have a great day.